Hello and welcome to Jonno Does Stuff. My name is Jonno and today the stuff I'm doing is walking up Moel Hebog. Moel Hebog is a lovely little mountain in the Eryri National Park. I'm climbing Hebog on a route I've done before and it takes in 3 peaks: Moel Hebog and Hebog. Now most people tend to climb Hebog from Bethgelert, and I understand why that is, because off the bat this route is very boggy. I've actually not done the route from Bethgelert, so I can't say what it's like, but I know this route is very boggy, and it's been raining in the UK for the past 20 years non-stop, so it's going to be especially boggy today. Now the other reason I like doing this trail is because it takes you past a fascinating little bit of Welsh history. We're going to go past the Prince of Wales Quarry. It's not one of the most popular quarries in Wales. People tend to go to Dinorrig and Dorothea, but this quarry is quite special and I'll tell you why later. Sure-footed as a mountain goat. Hebog's even fun to say, isn't it? You'd be forgiven for wanting to call it Hebog or Hebog, but it's got a nice little kick. Heh, heh. Hebog. Sort of why I'm climbing it, really. Main reason, just because it's fun to say. And the Prince of Wales Quarry, which we're coming up to now. I'm walking along the old line that would have taken Slate from the Prince of Wales Quarry all the way to Porthmadog. The Gwrsyddai Quarry is over there, I think, and the lines would have met and taken the Slate on to the harbour. Gwrsyddai Quarry is another quarry that failed. It's a more grand affair. It's got the Ynys mill, which was built by the same guy who built the line from the Gwrsyddai Quarry. A guy called James Brunlees, who was a very well established Scottish civil engineer. And he made it this big elaborate thing. It was the time when everybody wanted to make kind of grand statements. I don't think that was why it failed, but it certainly looks nice. I'll save that for another video. So here's the Prince of Wales Mill. So this is where all the stone would have come to be processed after having been blasted off the mountain. Where Gwrsyddai was quite an ornate affair, quite grand, very much built in the Gothic style, Prince of Wales Quarry was very kind of basic and did the job that it needed to do. It was single story, slate would come in, be processed and then sent down to Porthmadog. These 4 pillars would have carried water down from the reservoir, which we'll go past in a minute, to power the wheel. Don't know if it's there, should we go and have a look? Now it's completely silent. Kind of spooky, but very beautiful. Now I've read that Prince of Wales Quarry failed because the slate was just not up to standard, and tried to look into that, and all I could find was that it wouldn't split very well. So after however many years of productivity, they sort of packed up and moved on. Let's go and see if we can find the barracks that would have housed the people that worked here. So this is the reservoir that would have been used to power the mill. It's a double wall and it would have been packed with clay to prevent leakage, I guess. Looks good enough to swim in now. I'm not going to because I'm not an idiot. I am, but I have limits. My idioticness. There's the track that would have taken the stone down to the mill. They'd load the trolleys up, there'd be a winchman at the top, and he'd slowly winch it down, and an empty cart would come up. Just imagine these huge carts full of stone, weighing absolute tons, and there's a guy at the top with a brake, just doing his best to try and ensure that he doesn't lose control and send several tons of rock careering towards workers at the bottom of the hill. This little place would have been either one of the weigh bridges or one of the blast shelters for the workers to get in when they were blowing a bloody great bit of rock out of the earth. Let me check and I'll pop a little thing up on screen. So along here lines would have run from the galleries where they would have blown all the rock up, and they would have just dumped it down the mountain. All the rock that was no good, it was too small or couldn't do anything with it, and all the good stuff they'd work in these little smaller mills, I guess, to get in the trolleys, and then they'd send it down the mountain to the mill where it would then go to Portmaddock. I think there was a limited amount of mining here, so maybe that was one of the mines. There are some absolutely fucking huge holes in the ground, so I'm obviously giving the hike my fullest attention and not dicking around with an action camera. These would have been where the workers came back to at the end of the day. A lot of people would have lived in here. It's tiny. I live in a small one-bedroom flat, and I complain that my place is small, but this is a lot of guys living in here. It would have been a tough place to live. Great views though, goodness me. Very sad to see these old places vandalised, because it's part of history. It might be just some old stone buildings, but the stories that played out here and the people that lived here, you know, they gave a lot to make Wales great. So it's sad to see the places where they lived and worked not being respected. Kind of places like this are amazing that we've still got them. Just I've never seen anything like that at all. They would have blasted these huge chunks of rock off the mountain, drilling holes and then packing it with explosives, hiding in these little stone shelters, and then picking off the big chunks of rock, figuring out what they were going to keep and then what they were going to get rid of. Here's some of the waste, and this is quite big, but obviously not good enough. What I like most about the Prince of Wales Quarry is that it's a very early example of a slate quarry. Because it failed so quickly, they picked up and left, whereas other bigger, more successful quarries, the methods they used and the housing, it evolved as the quarry became more productive. They would just knock down old stuff they didn't need. Housing would have improved. The methods of moving the stone would have improved. Whereas here, it was just left, it was just abandoned after a relatively short amount of time. I've read that the stone just wasn't good enough, it wouldn't split very well, and that's why they decided to pack up and move on. Similarly, at the Gorsadai quarry had the same problem. The stone just wasn't up to standard, so the quarry failed and it was just left. So for that reason, those two quarries are really lovely places to come and have a look, in my opinion. And just, there's no one here. It's very quiet, you get the place to yourself. The buildings are in pretty good nick, and it's just a really atmospheric place. And the Cwm Valley is just incredible. Anyway, we've done enough rambling, let's hike up some mountains. Oh shit. It's not too bad, but this route is a little bit technical in places. That would ordinarily be fine, but because it's been raining, a bit slippery. Be careful. Make sure you pay attention to what you're doing and are not filming yourself like a completely vain YouTuber wannabe. It's well slippery, isn't it? Like a slippery nipple. Something tells me we're not going to be rewarded with spectacular views. But we're here. It'd be silly to turn back now, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't. It would be really smart. Shut up. It is worth noting that the 3 mountain walk, even without fanning around in an old disused slate quarry, is quite involved. Quite a grueling hike. But it's what we like, isn't it? That's why we do it, I think. I forgot it's actually quite an involved hike up Leven, and then Moel Hebog, and then Hebog. but we're here for the cardio. History and cardio is the channel's new niche. Jonno does history and cardio. At least we've got great views. Alright, that's one done. Moel Leven. 2 more to go. I'm quite knackered, but I've got coffee and a serene. I think that's going to sort me right out. And there we go. Moel Hebog. Ka-ching! No bloody trig points, I can't tap one. Not a great deal to see up here, so I'm going to push on to Hebog. A little bit of sliding around on your arse. It'd be absolutely fine were it not for the fact that it is slippery as hell. So everything that would be ordinarily quite fun is like an ice rink and quite painful on one's delicate little mittens. Get down here, get up Hebog, and then downhill all the way. So, approaching the last big climb of the day. Let's shuffle. Oh man, that's a big boy. That's not going to be easy, is it? I've done alright with the weather today, actually. It's not been too crap. Moody is how I would describe it. I think it sort of lends the mountains a mystery, don't you? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I can see a trig point. Here we go. Pew! Pew, pew. He's done it, yes! Sorry, I'm sharing myself, but I'm absolutely cream crackered. Absolutely worth it though for these cracking views. Woo! Lovely, lovely way to spend your morning. Well, early afternoon. Alright, I'm going to find somewhere to hunker down and eat, because I'm starving. The last time I was here I got the best cloud inversion I've ever had in my life. You climb up through all this mist that we've had today, and then over there you'd see little Wither, Moel Mauer, Moel Bach, Connect, I think you could see over there, Eryri, and today nothing. Oh well, all about the exercise, wasn't it? We don't do this for the views, we do it just for the pain. Okay, I'm gonna have some food. Just to hammer home the craziness of the route back, is it does just hoik you over a lot of old walls, and there's no proper place to climb over. It's not like a stile. You just gotta climb over an old wall that's covered in moss and just hope that you don't slip and crack your head open. It's not the best way back, that's all I'll say, but it's great if you want to see Prince of Wales Quarry. If you're not worried about the Prince of Wales Quarry, probably try from Beth Gelert. The fuck we're gonna do this? I think we're gonna just do across here and then gonna be a bit of a leap at the end. That's slippery. Slippery as shit. I'm going to just get my feet wet. I'm going to put the camera down and figure this out. My boots. Lova Renegade GTX. Not sponsored. Fuck me, they're good. I just fully submerged my foot and we dry. We dry. Can't say for sure whether I endorse this route for everybody. Quite involved, especially if you've been dicking around looking at old slate mills. If you do want to make a whole day of it, then yeah, go for it. The last section is very difficult and you're just tramping through fields. No paths, no markers, nothing. I'm not even sure really if you're allowed to. I think it's probably trespassing. It's a very nice route in that not many people do it, and you can kind of understand why. I've not seen a single person all day. I think I'm going to have a look at getting up Hebog from Beth Gelert and see what that way's like. I like this way because it's interesting. Anyway, I can see my little van, so I'm going to leave it there. My name's Jonno. This has been Jonno Does Stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio!